Welcome to the iconic Daytona Beach for the opening round of the 2015 AquaX Championship. Last year we saw some awesome racing across all of the classes and it gave us 3 great champions. Martin Sanborn takes up the story.
In the 200 class, it was Rob Greenwald taking the championship. He won the 200 class with 15 starts, 10 wins, 4 seconds, and a third. Throughout the 2014 season, he never missed a podium for factory Yamaha.
I rode as hard as I could, like every joint in my body ached.
In the 250 class, it was all about domination by Eric Lagopoulos. He won the class with 14 starts and 14 wins. The only thing that kept him from a complete season clean sweep is he didn't race in the Tampa event, but still, top of the podium every single race he was in.
Not only did Eric Francis top the 300 class table, he's also topping the Leica Mobile AquaX World Rankings.
Totally shocked to come here and get to #1, so you know it's really exciting and definitely makes me want to push harder. It's choppy, it's rainy, it's miserable. I mean, that's what we like.
So not only did Eric top the championship, but he's also at the top of the standings in the Leica Mobile AquaX World Rankings. He's taken time out to join us now. Eric, great to see you.
Pleasure to be here.
Congratulations on last season, and once again, like I said, just sitting at the top of the Leica Mobile AquaX World Rankings. You had a great year last year.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fight since day one. I mean, you know, we had a couple technical difficulties, had a few rounds, but we fought through it, battled with Rasmussen the entire year, and fortunately we ended up out front and #1 in the world, so it was quite a good season.
What do you think you've got to do this year, though, as we look ahead to the racing today and for the season? What have you got to do to maintain your position?
The strategy is a lack of mistakes and tons of training, cardio, trying to make sure the boats are perfect, and then I'm as light as possible and in the best shape I can be. I mean, when it's all stock boats, every pound counts and every mistake is night and day difference.
This weekend, it's the usual 2 days of racing, with each class running twice on the Saturday and once on the Sunday. In previous years, the 200s, the 250s and the 300s all ran together. But this year here in Daytona, the series has grown to over 100 riders. So the organisers have had to change things up a little bit.
Yeah, we've been so successful this year. I mean, 2 years ago here in Daytona, we just had 7 races. Last year, 50. This year, the best part of 100 races. So, for safety reasons, we've split the classes. The big 300s are run by themselves, and the 200s and the 250s have still run together.
And another change for this year are the class colours. The 200s, and by 200 we mean 200 horsepower, will be wearing red. The 250s, you'll see them in black, and the 300 horsepower big guns, well, they'll be wearing white. So first up, it's the 200-250 class race, and here are some of the riders to watch out for.
Yeah, I've gone to the Sea-Doo from the Kawasaki, and I've chose the 250 class to see if I could beat, Eric Lagopoulos that won every one last year except when he fell off. So, I'm going to see what I can do in that class.
Yamaha's got a bunch of guys out there. Sea-Doo stepped it up with a couple new riders, but I never really worry about who's out there. Just try to run my race and try to go as fast as I can.
Well, it's just a brand new production ski, and this ski is the most sublime handling rough water ski you'll ever ride. But I will say it is a little heavier, so I'm gonna have my work cut out for me when we get to the flat water. I already know that, but in the surf, these guys know I'm no one to be messed with.
So psyched. It comes down to mind over body. It's just push through it and focus, and if you don't, that's when you'll be coming off swimming.
So that's the talking over. Now's the time to go racing.
And with the green flag in the 200 and 250 class, all the boats heading south, we go on board with Rob Greenwald. He is the defending champion here in Daytona, as well as the 2014 champion in the 200 class. All of the teams having to navigate the rough waters on the front straightaway just inside of the surf line as we look at Brian Baldwin. And at the checkered flag, it was Brian Baldwin on the number 502 Yamaha taking the win. In the 200 class, as the checkered flag is out, our defending champion, Rob Greenwald, takes the win in the 200 class. Let's take a look at the results. In the 200 class, it was Greenwald, Velasco, Vanderlei, and Reeves. And with a penalty applied to Baldwin, the win in the 250 class goes to Gorey, followed by Nocita, Colley, and Lagopoulos. And as the green flag flew for Moto number 2, the boats jump out. Still rough conditions as we're on board Eric Lagopoulos. Lagopoulos gets a good hole shot. He's out to the lead as they head towards the first turn. The first lap is a short lap on this 2-mile course as they head towards turn 1. Turn 2 is going to be almost a U-turn as they head towards one of the 2 right-hand turns on this course as we're on board with Eric Lagopoulos. Lagopoulos running for Team Sea-Doo. As we look at one of our other Sea-Doo riders, this is Anya Colley making her way towards the north turn. Anya all the way here from the UK. As we go back to Eric Lagopoulos making his way through the chicane, coming along the shoreline. On board with Rob Greenwald in the 200 class. He's out front. Whoa, what a close call as he just went past the back end of another ski. Here's Eric Lagopoulos. He's getting challenged on the outside by Brian Baldwin. Brian Baldwin now moving alongside, trying to overtake Lagopoulos as we go back on board Greenwald as he's trying to get himself around some traffic. Eric Lagopoulos coming into the chicane. He has the inside lane. Squares it off on the outside. Moving along the start-finish line out front of him now is Brian Baldwin as he makes his way towards the left-hand turn that has been traditionally right on top of the break. Rob Greenwald continues to lead in the 200 class as we look at the number 885 of Paloma Nocita. He is here all the way from Peru as he makes his way through the chicane and on the front straightaway. Here is our new leader in the 250 class, the number 502 of Brian Baldwin, running for Team Yamaha. Running in second place, Eric Lagopoulos, as he comes along the front straightaway. Timing was critical at turn 1 as traditionally a wave would roll right through the marker as we look at our new leader in the 200 class. This is the number 999 of Travis Zalesko. Back on board Rob Greenwald. He's now in second place trying to run down Zalesko. Back to our leader in the 250 class, Brian Baldwin. Running for Team Yamaha as he makes his way along the front straightaway. Oh, Anya Colley gets over the top of a wave and spins out. Nice recovery. She doesn't go swimming on that one. The number 60 boat of David Gorey moves into third place on the back straightaway. As we go back on board with Rob Greenwald running in second position. And the white flag is out. 1 lap to go in Moto 2. David Gorey has now moved into second place in the 250 class for Team Kawasaki. But here comes our leader. It is Brian Baldwin as he takes the win in Moto number 2 for the 250 class. And back in the 200 class, coming around the final turn, entering into the chicane, this is our leader, number 999, Travis Zalesko, running for Team Kawasaki for the win. And for the results in Moto number 2 in the 200 class, it was Zalesko, followed by Greenwald, Vanderlei, and Diaz. And with the technical infraction on Baldwin, the win goes to Gorey, followed by Nocita, Colley, and Lagopoulos.
So we're all set to go then for the next 200, 250 class race.
And now for the start of the final moto here in the 200 and the 250 class, off to an early start again is number 361, Eric Lagopoulos. As we go on board Rob Greenwald, as he got a great jump in the 200 class as well. But Eric Lagopoulos is going to be the first one to the first turn. Just ahead of the number 502 of Brian Baldwin as we go back on board with Rob Greenwald. Here we go on board with Lagopoulos. You can see just how close Brian is right behind him as Lagopoulos is defensively driving. But Eric Lagopoulos out front here in the final moto in the 250 class. This is the number 60 of David Gorey. He's currently running in third place on this moto. As the boats make their way into the chicane along the front straightaway. For this moto, the water conditions calm down significantly. As we take the aft view on Eric Lagopoulos, he has some clean water, and here is the battle right now between Anya Colley and Kevin Wassam. Anya's on the inside, trying to run down Kevin Wassam in the 250 class. As we look at our drone shot following, Brian Baldwin makes a great turn inside. And back to our leader. Here we see the number 885 just ahead of Eric Lagopoulos as Mike Gast, Eric Lagopoulos, and Brian Baldwin make their way through turn number 1. Back on board with Rob Greenwald. He's about to get overtaken by the leader in the 250 class, and here he comes, Brian Baldwin. He's on the inside, driving by Rob Greenwald. Rob is currently the leader in the 200 class. Brian Baldwin, the leader in the 250 class, as the white flag is out. And here is our new leader in the 200 class, Travis Velasco, the number 999 Yamaha. He now moves into the lead in the 200s. But here comes our winner in the 250 class. Brian Baldwin, number 502 on his Yamaha, comes in for the win. As we take a look at our results for moto number 3, Velasco takes the win, followed by Greenwald, Vanderlee, and Diaz. In the 250 class, after the technical infraction by Baldwin, it's Lagopoulos, Gorey, and Colley. Now let's take a look how it shapes up for the overall for the weekend. Velasco takes the top position on the podium with Greenwald in second, followed by Vanderlee in the 200 class. It's Gorey, Nocita, and Lagopoulos rounding out the top 3 in the 250.
Travis, 2 from 2 on the day. How's it feel?
Very good, very good. I lost my goggles 10 minutes in. Eyes are hurting a little, but it was good. Rob Greenwald's amazing, amazing competition. He's a good guy. He's kept my pace right up there, man.
That's it for now from here in Daytona. Join us right after this for more of the same. So now it's the turn of the big guns in the 300 horsepower class. And don't forget, these guys, well, they'll be racing in the white vests.
This is my first time actually ever racing on the East Coast. And AquaX, it seems really good. It's very organized. I like the track, I like the race, the waves, everything. So I'm really excited to be here.
Come back for a second season to see if we can do a one spot better, but we're already off to a little rough start, being we're having some boat difficulties, so this is just a little hiccup, so hopefully we can get everything squared away before the next round.
What do you think you got to do to win here in Daytona this weekend?
I think it's more of an experience with the waves, because it's exactly like home, like 7-footer wave, 8. So yeah, I mean, all you gotta do when here is to be patient. You gotta know what's going on with the waves. You gotta read the waves. Yeah, I think with that, you can be like top 3 at least.
So that's the talking over. Now it's time to go racing.
At the start of moto number 1, the water was rough, and Blaine Spooner sticks it and spins himself off the boat. Jason Russo gets huge air out at turn 1 as they head out to sea, and Edworthy hits Mike Farr as he spins out on top of a wave. Let's take a look at that again. He just clips the front of the boat. But the win goes to number 101, Craig Warner, on his 300X Kawasaki as he launches off a wave, does a little pirouette show-off. He gets the checkered flag in moto number 1. So moto number 1 in the 300 class saw Craig Warner on top, Aero Aswar in second, followed by Ian Tosca, Aqua Aswar, Francis, Russo, Spooner, and Rasmussen. Moto number 2 in the 300 class. We are on board with Eric Francis, number 911. He gets a good jump in the beginning. But out front is the number 77 of Jason Russo as they head towards turn number 1. On his inside is Aksa Aswar from Indonesia. And Aero Aswar right alongside, and Aqua Aswar is going to move into the lead as they head towards turn 1. Top 3 boats all side by side, but it's Aero and Aksa Aswar, the two brothers from Indonesia, that are out front as we go on board number 911 of Eric Francis. Back out to our leader. This is Aksa Aswar on Team Yamaha. On board with Eric Francis as he runs through lap traffic on the inside of number 321, Chris Leo. But out front, it is the brothers, Aero and Aksa Aswar from Indonesia, putting on a clinic, splitting traffic as they move their way through the pack here in Moto number 2. It's the number 117 of Aksa Aswar out front. Ahead of his brother, Aero's on the inside. Aero's making a move as they're on the back straightaway, splitting lap traffic, coming up to the right-hander, and Aero moves ahead. Aero gets clean water and just accelerates himself to that right-hand turn. He now moves into the lead here in the second moto of the 300 class. As Aero comes towards the turn into the chicane along the beach, we go back on board with Eric Francis as he sweeps the right-hand turn. Oh, Aero Aswar comes around the turn and his lid pops up in the front. He's got to slow down and close it as the front of his hatch comes down. He was in the lead, but on the outside, his brother blows by. Aksa Aswar retakes the lead here in Moto number 2. As we look at the overall course, the leader continues to be Aksa Aswar as the white flag is out. 1 lap to go. Aksa out front, his brother Aero in second position. Third place, number 101, Craig Warner, as he comes right along the inside of the surf line, and the checkered flag is out, and the win goes to Aksa Aswar here in Moto number 2. As he blows through the wave at the end of the race, let's take a look at our finish results in Moto number 2. Aksa Aswar takes the win, followed by Aero, then Francis, Warner, Spooner, Klippenstein, Thornton, and Iantaska. And there are the brothers, Aero and Aksa, after just putting on a clinic here in Moto number 2. And the start of Moto number 3, off to a green flag start. Right out of the box, number 77, Jason Russo jumps out to an early lead. As we look, he's got a big margin going into turn 1. The first lap is a short lap on this 2-mile race course as we go on board our team from Great Britain, Chris Keach, the number GB50. As the boats head out, it calmed down quite a bit for this final moto here in Daytona Beach. As we are back on board with Chris Keach, looking at our leader, number 77, Jason Russo. He's out front, but he's got a rear view mirror full of Eric Francis on his tail as he makes the right-hander on the back straightaway. Clean water out front for Russo. As we go on board the number 911 of Eric Francis, you see him looking back. And what he sees coming are the Aswar brothers. As the number 117, Aksa Aswar, is now challenging. He gets himself past Francis. Now he's got his sights set on Russo as they come in towards the front straightaway. And here he comes. It looks like he's going to get him. He's coming up on the inside hard. Aksa Aswar now moves into the lead in the final moto. He finally catches Russo on the back straightaway and moves into the lead. Aksa Aswar now out front in this final moto of the 300 class here in Daytona Beach. This is round number 1, the P1 AquaX USA Championship Series, as Aksa Aswar continues to march through lap traffic, leading this final moto here in Daytona. Aksa Aswar out front as he makes his way on the back straightaway. He just rounds that right-hand turn. We go back on board with Chris Keach. He's our entry from Great Britain, the number GB50 on a 300 Kawasaki, as we go now to Aero Aswar. Aero Aswar has now moved himself into second place, having gotten past Jason Russo, and it looks like he's getting ready to put Chris Keach down a lap as we go back on board Chris Keach. And there we see Aero drive by him, putting him down a lap as Aero goes across his bow. Aero Aswar in second position. Aqua Aswar's brother up in the front. We're back on board with Eric Francis. He's currently running in third position, trying to get by Aero Aswar as we go back to Oxa Aswar out front. But Francis is now trying to challenge Aero Aswar and move himself into second position as Oxa Aswar makes his way around the turn. Well out front, back on board with Eric Francis, challenging for that second place position. You can see how the water has calmed down tremendously here in this final moto as we are on the final lap. But out front is Oxa Aswar, a Team Yamaha from Indonesia. Well out front, it looks like Eric Francis has just squeaked himself by Aero to move into second place as Oxa makes his way into the chicane. The checkered flag is out, and here comes Oxa Aswar. He is going to take the win here in this final moto in the 300 class in Daytona Beach. And there it is. Oxa Aswar takes the win in the final moto. Let's take a look at our results in the final moto of the 300 class. Oxa Aswar takes the win, followed by Francis, then Aero Aswar, Warner, Spooner, Saxon, Leach, and Toledo. As the points are tallied for the overall, Oxa Aswar takes the win. Aero Aswar is in second position. Craig Warner comes in third, rounding out the podium, followed by Francis, Spooner, Ayantaka, Saxon, and Leach.
So, Axa, huge congratulations. You've taken the overall win on the weekend.
Yeah, it was rough out there. The wind was, it's really rough. You know, on the start, I got second, and I passed my brother, and he passed me again, and I got first, and all the way to the finish line, I just had to ride smart and keep holding on ski.
So sadly, another P1 AquaX weekend comes to a close, but huge congratulations to all of our winners. We'll be doing it again next time out in Jacksonville, and we'd love it if you could join us. But until then, from all of us here on the beach, see ya.